And we are live for some Week 6 Towers of Doom Chair League action. My name is Tara Spaz, and I'm overjoyed to bring to you a match between Prairie eSports on the blue team and Tratt on the red. Got two very high caliber teams coming into it. Prairie eSports at not quite full strength. They had to tap into their reserves and bring a sub today, but I'm sure we'll see quality play on both sides. But what we won't see is Falstad. Won't see that ban coming out on the side of Prairie eSports. And Tratt taking away Tracer for their first ban. So clearly a bit different concerns from both teams. Prairie eSports worried about the mobility that Falstad can bring to the table, and Tratt just not wanting to deal with the single point damage. But unfortunately for them, they're going to have to deal with multiple many point damage from the form of Kael'thas. Prairie eSports first pick, and in response to that, they get a bucket full of damage on their own on the side of Li Ming for Tratt, their first selection. And as it seems like we've been seeing in recent weeks, both teams prioritizing those high impact, high damage, and low health heroes. So they must have a lot of confidence in their ability to operate as a unit, because the upper end for heroes like Li Ming and Kael'thas is very high, but the floor is very low if you can't get positioning well, if your team doesn't work together to maximize the effectiveness to keep those frail heroes in the fight for as long as you can. And to help with that, Tratt picks up a Thrall, a good frontline damage outputter to discourage the likes of Kael'thas or even Zool on the side of Prairie eSports from approaching. Zool, a mighty fine pick here on Towers of Doom with the short lanes. You don't have to commit super far to. Once you get that first structure, there's not a whole lot beyond it, so you don't have to extend too far into the danger zone. So I really like the Zool pick from Prairie eSports. I also like the Rhaegar pick. I've never seen a team that Rhaegar doesn't at least perform adequately in. It's a hero with very little downside, and depending on how the team fights go, potentially very strong upside as well. Notable, neither team putting any real prioritization on a big fat frontliner. In fact, Tratt electing to take Johanna off the board. So their plans must be something different, because they will get first pick after this round of bans. Prairie eSports taking another one off the table, ETC gone. So what's notable is that both teams have done very well at getting their selections out quickly and readily. They haven't really had to eat into their stoppage time, anything to speak of. Prairie eSports has burned 3 seconds, but they'll have the full almost minute to think about their 4th and 5th pick once they see what Tratt does here. And so seems like the draft is going as expected for each team. They haven't had to stumble and think and go into the tank to figure out what they're going to do. Which for us, the viewing audience, means that we should see some well-coordinated violence once the action gets going. But Tratt's gonna scoop up a Murd in here. It's finally getting aboard the tank train, and should do a good job keeping at least one target away from the frail backline. We'll see who they decide to park right beside Muradin. And this is why it's important to have a good early plan. You won't get much information from the other team, so it can go fairly predictably, and you can save all that time to figure out what you're going to do at the end when you have more information. And Tratt uses that time to select Li Ming as their support, or Li as their support. I don't know about you, but I have played against many Lilies as of late in Quick Match and even Hero League. And 2 months ago, if you told me that Water Dragon was going to be, you know, as highly picked and highly praised and as high impact as it is, I would have said you're nuts. It was jugs and cups all the way. Gotta get my team back to full health, but I can't remember the last time I've seen a Lily take jugs. So at most, or at worst, there's 2 strong selections for Li Ming, and you can. It's not a given which one you're gonna face. And Prairie eSports gets their big initiator Stitches, a terrifying hero, especially on this map where heroes can be left defenseless while they're channeling. It can be stationary for just a couple seconds, and if there's nothing protecting them immediately, Stitches can just grab somebody for Zool and Rhaegar and Kel'Thas to just glue to the board and rip apart. And they've got a few very excellent targets for that. Essentially, anybody whose name isn't Thrall or whose name isn't Muradin on Tratt Pack. And they just drove down to the hardware store, picked up a big tub of Elmers with the Tehran selection. So that's 5 heroes on Prairie eSports that can all move somebody, immobilize somebody, keep somebody away from where they want to be. And so far they've got a lot of good targets on the side of Tratt Pack. So I like what they're thinking. I like what they've been able to pull together. But Tratt Pack's got 1 pick left to sort of answer this heavy crowd control composition from Prairie eSports. They're not super sure what would augment their team here. They've only got about 10 to 15 seconds of stoppage time left. So there's some deep discussions going into this pick, clearly. And Nova! This is the first time I think I've seen Nova selected on Cherry League, and I'm real excited to see the damage that she can put out. I guess if Prairie eSports wants to, you know, spend a lot of their energy controlling the battlefield, then a good way to deal with that is to just not appear on the battlefield at all. So I'm really excited to see how that works out for Tratt Pack. So we'll get loaded into the game here in just a bit, and we'll be back on the other side. So stay tuned. Should be a good one.
I will fight to my last breath.
And we are loaded into Week 6 Towers of Doom Chair League action on the side of the blue team, Prairie eSports. We have Blackout on Zool, Smash Zord on Tyrande, Love Letters on Kelthus, Ape Scandals on Stitches, and Taylor Swift on Rhaegar in a very nice dancing formation from Prairie eSports. And against them in the red team, the Tratt pack, we have CDPs on Li Ming, DP's MS-22 on Nova, Sarant on Thrall, Red Bandit on Lili, and Stuffed Brain on Muradin. The gates are down, the teams are advancing towards a fight in the middle, and Tehran's going to get the first vision on exactly what they're running into, and we see an early Stitches hook going out, and that could be the game-defining move in itself. How much hooking can Stitches do? So no takedowns in the early game. We see Tratt pack spreading out very quickly, trying to go ahead and get to the lanes to soak that precious experience. And so something to watch for back at home is where Nova is. That's their one trump card against Stitches, is that Stitches is going to have a hard time taking away Nova if he can't find her. So both teams looking to set up some sort of bottom to mid rotation on each side, and so far we've got Muradin on his own in the top lane trying to contend with Azul. I don't think he's going to have a lot of success, but it'll be very hard for him to get taken out. Dwarf Toss, able to deal with roots whenever it's cast, and he'll have plenty of heads up. Meanwhile, we've got a bit of a party patrol forming around Stitches, but he's got too many friends to easily deal with. Shrines are up in 5 seconds. A lot of damage going down on Zool, but he will get away. Shrines are up. Got Nova collecting on the right. Got a bit of an engagement over on the left side, but it looks like Rhaegar is going to take it, and then Thrall and Kelthus are dueling in the bottom. So this is going to be where the action is. So far it's Zool and Kelthus against Thrall by himself. Kelthus should have enough time to get this before reinforcements comes in. Li Ming gets the orb in to deny the channel, and we've got right now we've got a 4-on-4, and it's hard to say who has the clear advantage right now. A lot of damage coming out from Li Ming, and not a lot of damage coming out against the Tratt pack. But then there goes Zool on Prairie eSports, bunch of damage coming down, and it looks like the turn-in's gonna go to the Tratt pack to get a 32-36 core lead. So good. Thrall did a nice job there, just holding out long enough. He knew he couldn't beat Zool and Kelthus, but he held them out long enough for Li Ming to arrive and interrupt that channeling. Everybody largely back to lanes for the most part. A bit of a problem coming in for Thrall, but he's got enough real estate behind him that he should be able to retreat if everybody decides to engage. Nova setting up shop. Prairie eSports gets to see where Tratt pack is from that mercenary camp, so they decide to run away at not knowing who all's going to be there. A hook coming out from Stitches. Haven't seen any big connections yet, but all it should take is one of them, and that might be the end of that hero. People it might be the end with instead. Zool caught out again, and Li Ming can just pour on damage, and that bone shield's not going to do anything against Li Ming. Her auto attacks are a joke at best, but that's not why she's scary. Thrall in deep here, trying to get Rhaegar out long enough for Nova to come and kill him, and she will. So I'm real excited to see that Nova pick play out. You know, Haven't seen her in too many matches, and it's nice to see a diverse hero selection from Tratt Pack. Certainly a lot of confidence in that pick. Shrines are going to be at mid and bottom. Muradin and Tyrande might be a bit late to the party, but everybody else should be here in just in time, except for Kael'thas, who gets blown up by the roaming mob ball of Tratt Pack. And there's a nice hook from Stitches onto Lily, but not enough damage with Kael'thas gone. I don't think the damage exists there to get the takedown. Li Ming's going to channel mid by herself. The big fight's going to be here at bottom. A big root coming down on Li Ming, and she's going to get blown up. The first takedown of the game for the side of Prairie eSports, and they're looking for more. A nice hook onto Lily. Kael'thas arrives just in time, so they can keep holding out. They should have the damage to try to secure another takedown. Li Ming's at very low health. Still too many interrupts to get the channel, and I'm not sure why Tratt Pack is continuing to fight here. They're down in numbers, they're down in health and resources, and now they might be down to Lily. So a nice strong recovery here. Muradin showing no fear, but arriving just a little too late to interrupt that. This may cost them Azul for all their efforts, but it looks like he's gonna be able to escape. So a nice, things look kind of shaky there for Prairie eSports, but they were able to achieve parity on the towers. They were able to gain a takedown advantage in that series of engagements. And more than anything, I think that can give them, a bunch of confidence. It's real easy. It's real easy in HOTS if you're just getting taken down over and over. If the other team just sees a lot of success in tearing you apart, then it can be hard to realize that, yeah, you can fight back. Speaking of a fight, we've got a 5v3 inside of Tratt Pack. A lot of damage coming out on Rhaegar. He's going to barely get away. Stitch is coming in with the hero hook. Root's going down on Thrall, but he's going to get back enough to safety that he shouldn't take a lot of damage from this. And that Nova, ever lurking around, takes out Rhaegar. So Altar's going to spawn in 25 seconds. Both teams should be able to achieve level 10 by then. Tratt Pack already has. Both teams trying to get as much experience as they can before the big brawl. Level 10's not quite active for Prairie eSports. They just now get them. Team selecting them as we speak. A lot of damage erupting out on Zul. He's going to make it to safety. On the flip side, Muradin jumps in right to the middle of their team, and he might be in a bit of a spot here. Sundering comes out from Thrall. Everybody on Prairie eSports dropping at a bit low health, but no takedowns just yet. Hologram Nova will get defeated for no gain. Siege Camp's doing a lot of damage to Zul. A nice chain heal on Rhaegar to save him at the last second, but it looks like this camp is going to go to the side of Tratt Pack. And their lead will extend from 32 to 24. Engagement here at bottom. Zul at very low health. Erupts his ultimate, but I'm not sure for a lot of gain. The follow-up wasn't there. I don't know if it's Kael'thas' mana or if he wasn't able to just get good positioning to connect those attacks. And I don't think this is the time that Prairie eSports should be looking to try to pick one of these heroes off. This should they may be better suited just licking their wounds, getting ready for the next big fight, trying to take some map objectives. And there's still a couple up for grabs. Speaking of which, it looks like the bulk of Prairie eSports is going to commit to stopping the siege camp at the bottom. Zul in a fairly precarious position, but Nova's going to have no part of this today. Instead coming up to help her sister in damage, Li Ming. Siege King cleans up, almost gets the hook on Lily. Jug's interrupted, a lot of damage going down, and those fast feet are just gonna be enough to save her and get her out of harm's way. The team rotates up, takes all of Kael'thas's health down from full to 0 in mere seconds, and right before the shrines are going to appear, he may be able to make it back to his team's shrine by the time it spawns, but it'll be close. But until he gets there, Tratt Pack's going to enjoy a 5v4 advantage here in mid. Nova heading back to channel, so the fight's going to be 4 on 4 at Prairie eSports' turn-in. A lot of damage coming down on Zool once again. Starfall goes down, takes out a whole big chunk of health on Thrall. He's going to go down. Muradin in pretty bad shape too. I'm not sure he's going to get out. A nice, very nice Ancestral on Zool to keep him standing. And so it looks like Prairie eSports is going to hold on, equalizing the turn-in, and in fact getting a couple takedowns for their trouble, and possibly a little more. The hook just barely missing Li Ming. That would have been another takedown for certain. And so they've got about 15 seconds of a 5v4 advantage. I wonder what Prairie eSports is going to do with this time. What's notable about this is that Prairie eSports have been outkilled by 3 takedowns, but there's really no experience difference between the teams. Maybe it's the cost of having a Nova and losing some of that laning potential, but what you lose in that, you certainly make up for takedowns as they secure a Tyrant kill and almost a Rhaegar as well. They managed to steal this camp, so that'll help tip the scales in Tratt Pack's favor. And it looks like that build from Tratt Pack is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Arrive somewhere, find a hero, kill that hero, move on, have a nice cup of tea. Damage coming down on Zool, and it's just, oh, that strike and that Thrall just there to just make absolutely sure he's gonna die. And even Stitches, with all his mighty health pool, he's gonna fall too. And this is looking quite precarious for Prairie eSports. They're staggering hero deaths. They've only got 2 on the board, and they're certainly not in a position to take a fight, which is really bad when 3 shrines are spawning in 25 seconds. Tratt Pack not looking to do anything super crazy, nothing really on the map to do. They could try to possibly knock down a building here, make their towers more effective, but I think they're more comfortable with just taking team fights as is. They seem to have had a fair amount of success in them. Team is a bit split up here. Fall and Li Ming down at the bottom shrine. Muradin jumping in to try to... And then an excellent hook from Stitches, getting Muradin out of the fight for quite a while. Unfortunately, Orbital Strike going to be able to deny it. Deny the channel from Rhaegar. Muradin leaping back into the action. A lot of damage coming down. Still no takedowns yet. A nice Ancestral on Tyrant. Starfall to cover their retreat. Zool's going to barely escape the Death Orb. Muradin's going to fall, so there is a 5v4 advantage on the side of Prairie eSports, and they absolutely have to take this shrine. 8 is a very, very precarious health pool. And in fact, they're going to do so much more than that. They're going to get another takedown in the form of Thrall and the real, genuine Nova. So they're going to enjoy a 5v2 advantage for just about 30 seconds on the map. And they could use this opportunity to push some lanes, to get some camps, but they need to make core health less of an issue, so they go for boss, and I think this is a wise decision. They know that the heroes left on the board on Tratt Pack won't be enough to really punish them for this. They'll get the core for themselves, and almost more importantly, deny it to Tratt Pack. That won't be an option for them for the next almost 5 minutes. Bottom Merc camps going to the side of Tratt Pack. All other camps still active on the board, and both teams kind of split up across all the lanes, just trying to glom up some experience points. Not looking to do anything too wacky here. That is kind of a scary plan when the other team has a Nova. I mean, what may be a one-for-one standoff in a lane could be 2-1 against you, and you just don't know. So I'm glad to see Prairie eSports here balling up and collecting together. A nice damage eruption on Murd, and he's going to just detonate immediately, and that's all the tanking for Tratt Pack. I'm not sure they're going to be in a position to take an engagement here. And Prairie eSports can exert their will on the board and hopefully find a way back in this game. They're going to take Li Ming as well. It's going to be 5v3 for quite a while. It looks like they're going to take down this bottom fort here. I don't think Tratt Pack's in a position to stop them from this. And this couldn't have worked out better for Prairie eSports. They get a couple takedowns, they have a level advantage, they have a building advantage, and in that same lane, they can just turn around, grab this shrine, and it's going to be no contest from Tratt Pack. Instead, they elect to move as far away as possible and try to exert a force on this map far away from Prairie eSports until they can get back to full strength and take another team fight. So just like that, Prairie eSports being down a fairly large deficit, 8-12 core health. They've managed to turn it around, only down by 3, and by all other metrics ahead in this game. Tratt Pack not wanting to leave this top building down to be a liability for any future channeling, so they're going to reclaim it, leaving Prairie eSports free to take this bottom camp. And so the dance is beginning, where Prairie eSports looks to do a lot of damage to a structure, withdraw, Tratt Pack take the structure back while Prairie eSports goes elsewhere on the map, and it looks like the Phoenix is just going to barely finish this off. Good game sense from Prairie eSports, knowing that they took this fight just about as long as they could. We got to start running based on where the other team was. We know we can't sit around too long. And a bit of a cheeky move from the side of Prairie eSports, knowing that the channeling is going to come soon. Trying to get a hook on the hero out of position, but manages to only unfortunately get a minion instead. So glorious march to a takedown denied by a lowly level nothing minion. But I like the attempt. I like the confidence that seems to come back to Prairie eSports. They're ready to try things. They're ready to start bullying Tratt Pack around, which back in the level 10 era didn't seem like it was going to happen. A nice slow coming down from Rhaegar. A hook is going to take Murd out of position, leaving the rest of Tratt Pack exposed to the Phoenix and Starfall. The Cups keeping everybody around just barely. So far, no takedowns yet. Stitches will get an eat. Muradin's gonna fall. Thrall's likely gonna fall from this too. And so a 2-0 on the side of Prairie eSports. And it looks like they're gonna get both these shrines as well. Orbital Strike coming to delay a lot of damage coming out. If they can avoid getting engaged by Stitches, then Tratt Pack may be able to interfere with this long enough to... Oh, a nice disintegrate beam from Li Ming. And so far, Prairie eSports has been unable to take the shrine, but what they have taken is a bunch of damage. And so this may wind up shaping up to be an impressive hold from Tratt Pack. Another big orb going down on Rhaegar, and he can't afford to take another one of those at the health he's at. But it looks like this channel is going to be successful, and Prairie eSports now commanding in the lead with 12-7 on core health, a 2-level advantage, a talent tier advantage with their storm talents, equal on takedowns, equal on structures, and all the objectives on the map are up. So they don't have a man advantage anymore. Tratt Pack was able to hold off that turn in long enough to get back to a 5v5. So we'll see what Prairie eSports decides to do with their time. It looks like they They thought about taking the top camp, but realizing their position was a bust, they decide to temporarily withdraw at least. Zool looking to scoop up these camps once more. And neither team looking to do anything too huge here. That is, Stitches wanted every part of Thrall defeated there, using his ultimate and the hook and Bolt of the Storm just to make sure Thrall was in absolutely an unsurvivable location. And he's going to be off the map for a full minute. Tratt pack spread up, trying to desperately claw their way up to level 20 before the next shrine's hit, and it's going to be close. Looks like they're going to get just a bit more than that. A bunch of damage coming in on the top structure, while Leeming not here to defend it, but is just trying to poke out a lot of damage in bottom. But two owls are going to take her from full to nothing in no time flat. That is the danger and the peril of standing still. I mean, even if you think you're okay, just zigzagging around can make that Nova Snipe miss, can make those owls just a bit off target. And now Prairie eSports has 3 damage left to deal with 2 shrines to do it, and they're going to have a 5v4 advantage for the next 30 seconds. So I don't know what Tratt pack has in their sleeve, but it needs to be very impressive, and it needs to hold out both shrines for now. It looks like Prairie eSports is going to commit everything to this top shrine. A lot of damage coming down against Taylor Swift on Rhaegar. He's going to barely stand for the moment. Instead, Thrall's also at low health. He's going to fall. Very likely place of Rhaegar. Kael'thas is going to go down. And this is a fantastic hold from Tratt pack. They're down to a 3v3 with Leeming on the way to help keep this up. Zool's going to go down, and amazingly, Tratt pack holds on. Stitch is the lone defense, and he's just going to gobble up damage and either get pushed away or taken out. And all of a sudden, the tide of the game shifts in favor of Tratt pack. They're not gonna have lethal here just on its own. Although now this is impressive. They leave the bottom shrine, trying to take back this bottom building here to just eke out another point of damage, knowing that Prairie eSports is going to be off the board for so long. I don't know what there may not be a huge difference in their core being at 5 health versus 6, but Tratt pack could make a go at it here with these mercenary camps. They do represent 6 damage to the core, which would be lethal, but Prairie eSports being aware of the risk, mount a defense here to just make sure that these poor minions will never make it to the death zone. Tratt pack, realizing that Prairie eSports knows what they have to do to stay alive in the game, says, well, if that's what you decide to do, then we're going to do the same thing to you that you did to us. You want to take back your building, we'll grab one of our own. Stitch is almost able to hook someone into the death zone. That would have been an instant kill if he could have eaten them and just walked merrily back behind that hazy line. So both teams just cleaning up their buildings. We should see the building count at 4-4 by the time the next shrine appears. Unless maybe Tratt pack can do something with this top camp. I wouldn't expect them to get a whole lot of damage done to this. Prairie eSports in position to make sure this camp can't have a high impact on the map. Hook goes out, just checking to see if anyone's in that bush and select them to their death, but nobody's home. Stitch is wandering out by himself. Tratt pack just a stone silence, and so this is a neat state of the game. So the shrine's appearing at the bottom, both teams at full power. Tratt pack a little bit behind getting set up, but if Prairie eSports gets this shrine, that will be the game for them. If Tratt Pack channels it as is, it's going to take Prairie eSports down to 1 health. Oh no, the disastrous start. The hook goes out on Murden, Bolt of the Storm to take him away. A lot of damage coming down on Murden. He's pops his avatar, but he's in great shape. Sundering comes out with a lumps together Prairie eSports team. Big fight. Tehran's gonna go down. Ancestral's gonna be just a bit too late. Living Bomb doing a lot of damage on the side of Tratt Pack. And it's a 5v4 for Tratt Pack. Now it's a 5v3, and that could close this out. In terms of this shrine, a 5v2 shrine is still active. Stitch is doing a nice job, just holding everybody together long enough to maybe pull something out of this, but he's going to eventually fall. Rhaegar's in a very, very precarious position. And Tratt Pack, realizing the health count, just needs to get one more building to make that shrine shoot for 5. They do that. And 20 seconds before Prairie eSports can put another person on the board, and that's not going to be in time to stop this channeling. So 5 shots coming from the side of Tratt Pack to the core of Prairie eSports, and that is going to be game.
Red team is victorious.
What an exciting and impressive performance from both teams. I mean, when this started, I thought that Tratt Pack's damage was going to be able to just outpower Prairie eSports all the way through, and then we got to that level 10 talent tier, and Prairie eSports started just throttling back into this game. They managed to gain a lead on core health. They got a lead in experience. They had the map control. And Tratt Pack was able to hold on in a couple very clutch team fights. That second to last shrine where they were able to hold on 5v4, and just it was really impressive. They were able to hold on when they knew the chips were on the table and everything was on the line, and that's kind of the story of how they played that game. They were able to just poke and delay, and even if they lost heroes, even if they were down 5v4, 5v3, they were able to stall Prairie eSports long enough that eSports wasn't able to do anything with that advantage other than get the shrine. They couldn't go knock down buildings often. They couldn't get camps. So a marvelous game, a really exciting match from both teams. It was a treat to watch, and I hope y'all enjoyed it too. But unfortunately, there is only one W in Chair League Heroes of the Storm, and today that W goes to Tratt Pack. A commendable job, excellent match, and I look forward to action next week. My name's been Terraspaz. This has been Chair League, and I'll see y'all in the Nexus. Take care.